It's one of Lebanon's largest Syrian refugee camps. It's also among the best organized. Al Yasmin refugee camp is paid for by Qatar Charity. Residents here are provided with food, water, shelter, and healthcare. And for Khala Tyab, living at Al Yasmin has also given her much needed peace of mind. Originally from Homs, she fled from the fighting in Syria to Lebanon 6 years ago. But up until moving here last year, she and her 4 children had little choice but to travel from camp to camp, looking for somewhere safe and stable to live.
Thank God we were able to find this place. Without this tent, we would have had to live on the streets without food and shelter. My kids would have died, but thanks to Qatar Charity, we have a tent, food, clothing, and electricity. Without their help, we wouldn't have survived.
Established more than 30 years ago, Qatar Charity is Qatar's largest NGO. It has worked extensively with several UN aid agencies, as well as the World Food Programme, Oxfam, and USAID. Since the start of the Syrian conflict, more than 8 million Syrian refugees have been helped by Qatar Charity, including in Turkey, which hosts the world's largest Syrian refugee population, and from where Qatar sends aid to those in need inside Syria. But Qatar Charity's support for Syrians and others is under threat. Last week, as part of a growing crisis among Gulf states, 4 countries, including Saudi Arabia, accused several Qatar-based charities of being involved in terrorism, including Qatar Charity, an accusation the Qatari government strongly rejects. It's also a claim many living in the Gaza Strip find hard to believe. More than half of Palestinians living in Gaza have received direct support from Qatar Charity and other Qatari aid agencies. Mustafa Kalaja says without their support, his family would have little to eat after breaking their fast during the month of Ramadan.
Thank God we were able to find this place. Without this tent, we would have to live on the streets without food and shelter. My kids would have died. But thanks to Qatar Charity, we have a tent, food, clothing, and electricity. Without their help, we wouldn't have survived.
The United Nations says it's not bound by what it described as Saudi Arabia's so-called terrorist list, while the Qatari government has condemned the allegations. But for people who rely on the support of Qatar Charity, the deepening crisis in the Gulf has them increasingly concerned. Imtiaz, Tyab, Al Jazeera, Bar Elias in eastern Lebanon.